All right, I call this meeting to order. Please rise for the flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, roll call, please.
Mayor Caucus.
Here.
Mrs. Passio. Here. Mr. Ranieri.
Here.
Mr. Lobenstein.
Here.
Mr. Fowler.
Here.
Mrs. Kelly. Here. Mr. Root.
Here.
Mr. Wood.
Here.
Mr. Basler.
Here.
And Mr. Law.
We do have very good attendance for our council.
Extra agenda.
Don't jinx it.
Public notice of this meeting pursuant to the Open Public Meetings Act, you're right, I should never say something like that, has been given by the clerk in the following manner. One, posted on the bulletin board in the Borough Clerk's office on January 4th, 2017, and two, emailed to the retrospective and Kurt posted on January 4th, 2017. Just before we get started, I would like everyone to know that our resolution about the Open Public Meetings Act and the Oprah requirements that they're trying to amend, I don't know if everyone got copies, but the senator from North Jersey has really reached out a lot to kind of explain what she's trying to do to make it better and
Make it applicable to the Senate and the House.
well,
That would be a big start.
You can talk with the chick.
have you ever been a parent, Len? Does the parents have to do what they say? We always tell our kids to do.
Lead by example. Do what I say, not what I do.
So she's reached out on three occasions now already to us, trying to explain what they're trying to do to make this law better for everyone. Public hearing, so we'll get right into the business here. We have a public hearing this evening for ordinance 17-12, which is an ordinance establishing the position of Assistant Municipal Tax Collector and Payroll Clerk in the Borough of Runnemede. This portion of the meeting is open to the public. Anyone wishing to speak, please come to the microphone and state your name and address. Seeing no one, is there a motion to close the public portion?
I make a motion.
I'll second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
The public portion is closed. Would someone like to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to adopt on the second and final reading and advertise.
Motion by Mr. Ranieri, is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Ms. Passio, roll call please.
Mrs. Kelly.
Yes.
Mr. Lobenstein.
Yes.
Mrs. Passio.
Yes.
Mr. Root.
Yes.
Mr. Fowler.
Yes.
And Mr. Ranieri.
Yes.
All right, this ordinance is adopted. Ordinance 17-13 is an ordinance regulating the salaries of the employees of the Borough of Runnemede for the year 2017. This sets the a range for this position we just created. This portion of the meeting is open to the public. Anyone wishing to speak, please come to the microphone, state your name and address. Seeing no one, is there a motion to close the public portion?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second that motion.
Motion by Mr. Lobenstein, second by Ms. Passio. All in favor to close the public portion?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, public portion is closed. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to adopt on second and final reading and advertise according to law.
Okay,
I'll second that motion.
okay, motion by Mr. Lobenstein, second by Mr. Root. Roll call, please.
Mr. Fowler.
Yes.
Mrs. Kelly.
Yes.
Mr. Lobenstein.
Yes.
Mrs. Passio.
Yes.
Mr. Ranieri.
Yes.
And Mr. Root. 6 ayes.
Okay, this ordinance is adopted. Ordinance 17-14. What is that noise? Is that me?
Who's that?
Yeah, Joyce.
It's this.
You have a loose wire. No, Joyce's wire is loose. You heard her? She was just pulling it. Ordinance 17-14. We'll just unplug it, Joyce. Hey,
Is that better?
much better. It's an ordinance amending section 193, games of chance, establishing Article 3 of the Runnemede Code. Just for clarification, this allows for the expediting of the bingo and other licenses, so that once the state and the clerk deem them appropriate, we no longer have to bring them in front of council, so they'll get done quick. But it doesn't change any of the rules. This portion of the meeting is open to the public. Anyone wishing to speak, please give your name and address. Seeing no one, is there a motion to close the
I'll
public
make a
portion?
motion to close
I'll
the public
second.
portion.
Motion by Mr. Lobenstein, second by Mr. Ranieri. All in favor to close the public portion?
Aye.
Public portion is closed. Someone like to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to adopt on second and final reading and advertise according to law.
I'll second that motion.
Motion by Ms. Kelly, second by Ms. Passio. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Kelly.
Yes.
Mr. Lobenstein.
Yes.
Mrs. Passio.
Yes.
Mr. Root.
Yes.
Mr. Fowler. And
Yes.
Mr. Ranieri.
Yes.
6 ayes.
This ordinance is adopted. Ordinance 17-15 is an ordinance amending section 39 5-15, zoning for fences, hedges, and walls of the Code Borough of Runnemede. I don't need to remind everyone, this portion of the meeting is open to the public. Anyone wishing to speak, please give your name and address. Seeing no one, is there a motion to close the public
I'll
portion?
make a motion, close public portion.
I'll second.
Motion by Mr. Lobenstein, second by Mr. Ranieri. All in favor to close the public portion?
Aye.
Would someone like to make a motion?
Mr. Farrell.
I'd like to make a motion to adopt on second, final reading, and advertise according to law.
Very good, Bob.
I'll second.
Motion by Mr. Farrell, second by Mr. Ranieri. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Kelly.
Yes.
Mr. Lobenstein.
Yes.
Mrs. Passios.
Yes.
Mr. Root.
Yes.
Mr. Farrell.
Yes.
And Mr. Ranieri.
Yes.
6 ayes.
All right, this ordinance is adopted. Ordinance 17-16 is an ordinance amending the section 336-6 swimming pools and fences of the Code of the Borough of Runnemede. These puts the two ordinances together. This portion of the meeting is open to the public. Seeing no one, is there a motion to close the
I'll
public
make a
portion?
motion to
I'll
close
second.
public portion.
Motion by Mr. Lobenstein, second by Mr. Ranieri. All in favor to close the public portion?
Aye.
Public portion is closed. Is there a motion?
I make a motion to adopt on second and final reading and advertise according to law.
Motion by Ms. Pasio, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Lobenstein. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Kelly.
Yes.
Mr. Lobenstein.
Yes.
Mrs. Passios.
Yes.
Mr. Root.
Yes.
Mr. Farrell.
Yes.
And Mr. Ranieri.
Yes.
6 ayes.
The ordinance is adopted. We also need a public hearing to be held in order to change our year 38 CDBG funds for East Second Avenue intersection improvements to the Borough Hall parking lot ADA improvements located within the block Group 3 of Census Tract 6072. Because if you recall, last year we were able to repair intersection with a vendor. Did a good job, so now we've moved the money over to the Borough Hall, but we are required by law to have a public hearing. So this portion of the meeting is open to the public, and wishing to speak about our changing of the CDBG funds, please come to the microphone. Seeing no one, is there a motion to close the
I'll make a
public hearing?
motion to close the public portion.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, motion by Mr. Lobenstein, second by Ms. Pasio. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, the public portion is closed. So stated in the record that there were no comments about moving the money. We have to send that to the county. So we have some resolutions. Resolution 17-152 is a resolution authorizing the Borough of Runnemede to adopt a revised grant agreement for the year 38 CDBG funds. So everyone understands we're just moving the money from one project to another. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Motion by Mr. Ranieri, second by Mr. Farrell. Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Farrell.
Yes.
Mrs. Kelly.
Yes.
Mr. Lobenstein.
Yes.
Mrs. Passios.
Yes.
Mr. Ranieri.
Yes.
And Mr. Root.
Yes.
6 ayes.
All right, the resolution is adopted. Resolution 17-153 is a resolution providing for the insertion of special items of revenue in the budget pursuant to the New Jersey statute. What items were these?
The body armor grant.
The body armor. Okay, yes. $1,705. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Mr. Ranieri,
I'll second.
second by Ms. Kelly. Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Mrs. Passios.
Yes.
Mr. Root.
Yes.
Mr. Farrell.
Yes.
Mr. Ranieri.
Yes.
Mr. Lobenstein.
Yes.
And Mrs. Kelly.
Yes.
6 ayes.
All right, this resolution is adopted. Resolution 17-154 is a resolution confirming 2017 appointments. This is adding to the Public Works Department, Mr. Joseph O'Neill as a temporary laborer at $13.99 per hour. This is a 6-month appointment. And in the construction office, Mr. Vance Bowman as a housing inspector with a maximum of 32 hours in a 2-week period. Is that correct?
That's, I had this discussion.
Oh, yeah, it is in a 2-week period, yes.
Correct, but he said if he works 20 hours one week, he can only work 12
The
the
next.
following week, so that's why he wanted to word it that way.
And then I agree with that. What this gentleman is doing, as everyone recalls, we don't have a housing inspector to go to do the multiple housings. So he will probably work very quickly to catch up with the apartments. I think we have 160 apartments that need to be inspected.
You say certified?
He's state certified, so he came from the, yeah, we have copies of all his licenses. And so we get reimbursed his salary basically for all these inspections. So there's no cost to the borough to inspect it.
Is it a wash?
Actually, we make a little bit of money.
Good. Great.
As long as you-
Is he staying on after?
Potentially,
Potentially.
because he has a license. And I think the idea was to have people available maybe to rotate in and things like that.
Perfect.
What was his name again?
It's in the
Vance.
Vance Bowman.
Oh, Vance Bowman. Jeff of Public Works.
Mr. Knight interviewed him, Mr. Mecca, I did not meet him, but he came, highly recommended. He's a retiree from a couple municipalities.
He worked for the county for 28 years, and now he's working for Borough and now Borough at the moment.
So he's bouncing around, doing exactly what everybody needs, licensed personnel. Okay, so is there a motion?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second that.
Motion by Mr. Ranieri, second by Mr. Lobenstein. Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Mrs. Keller? Yes. Mr. Lobenstein?
Yes.
Mrs. Fascia?
Yes.
Mr. Farrell?
Yes.
Mr. Ruth?
Yes.
And Mr. Ranieri?
Yes.
And the resolution is adopted. Resolution 17-155 is a resolution authorizing the issuance of a massage establishment license, Chapter 256 of the Runnemede Code. 246. Is there a problem?
Can we try this out before we approve it?
No, let me explain. Do you have a copy of the application? I didn't bring it with me. I brought
I
nothing.
have the whole folder.
Okay, in 1970, the borough established an ordinance that regulated massage parlors. In 1999, it was revamped. In 2005, I think the state took over, and under the New Jersey Administrative Code, they license people.
Okay.
So what they do is they make people get background checks, they make them get a state license. So I would say it's redundant with our license, because our license has a different purpose. The license from the state makes sure that these people meet the minimum standard of providing massage.
Okay, that's facility, not the individual giving the.
Oh, I'm sorry, I jumped.
It's inside.
It's both.
Both?
So we have two ordinances. We have an establishment ordinance with license and a individual who actually performs the massage license. The state does not regulate the establishment. We regulate the establishment. So under our ordinance, it has to have bathrooms. It has to have a changing area. It has to have an area for clean clothes and towels and things like that. So under the ordinance, the clerk receives the application, which we had to create in the past week, and then the zoning official goes out and inspects the establishment. So it's two halves. So Mr. Knight went out, made sure that the establishment meets the criteria. It would be in Powerhouse Gym. And if anybody's been in there, I think someone has been there, it's a nice establishment, and the room is nice, and everything about it is above board and meets the standard. So what we're doing first is there's $100 per year establishment license fee. I feel that we have to amend other things, but I don't think we can, at this point, Mr. Wood, if you can agree, this woman originally came in and filed for a business license. We changed it to this massage license. So the idea is that if she has a massage license granted by there, we may waive the business license. And the way I look at it is, if the municipality grants the license, not if someone gets a license from the state, that's the state's business. We're regulating in our, yes, what we do in our borough. So we regulate.
Looking at the massage license, kind of a subcategory of the business license, a specific.
Because it's a specific license that they follow our ordinance. So,
Just like a tattoo parlor, would be the same situation.
I don't know, does the tattoo parlor need a license? I don't know that one yet.
Yeah.
I really don't want to go into that.
But I understand what you're saying.
So she then, instead of paying $50 for a business license, paid $100 for a massage license. So now she's held it in what I would consider a much higher standard. A business license basically says you have a permitted use in the town, and we're just having it just informational and things like that. This means that she has to maintain her property. This allows the health department or our code enforcement to go into the property to do spot checks. It gives the town a lot more ability to regulate.
In this operation and any other massage parlor.
We're only dealing with this one right now, but yes, this one. And then anybody who is granted a license, we then could go in and do inspections,
Correct.
either on a yearly basis or whenever. So this applicant meets the standards. The property meets it, she paid the $100, and her application gives us all her information about herself.
Okay, but you're only dealing with the place.
We're dealing with the place.
You can do both of them together, you could have done all these together. of course.
We, you know,
You can do both of them together.
we don't get together enough to go over all this stuff, as I've explained. It's hard for me to
Well,
do
there
it more.
might be more coming, there might be more technicians.
So let me go to the second half of this thing. So the person who has the establishment is not necessarily, this is the owner of the property. The technicians are licensed,
No,
the owner of the business, the owner of the business.
Body Perks. She owns Body Perks.
okay, and they're in the gym.
They're subleasing from the gym. They're subleasing from the gym. So now the state regulates the person who actually does the work. So what we have is we have applications from one individual, it was two individuals. One individual, and they show up with a state license,
What's his name?
correct?
Sun Min Bong.
So they went in front of the state and did a background check, did a criminal background check, did all this stuff, and they get a certificate that looks like this from the state of New Jersey. It's granted every 2
Yeah, you
years.
have to put it up on the wall.
Every 2 years, they have to get it renewed.
So what has she got to do with this?
She works at this establishment. So now we have to grant a license for the person to work there. So what they do is they prove to us that they have a license from the state. They fill out all our paperwork, but our license is only good for 1 year. And what is the reason? It's $50, and then it's a renewal of $25 every year after that. The reason that we want to regulate this is, say we have a problem in one of these establishments, we then have the ability to not only pull the license, we can pull the license of the masseuse that's maybe doing something inappropriate, or of the establishment if something is being done
Do
inappropriately.
we actually go to the state and check out these numbers and make sure that she really does that?
Well,
It's just not something-
I agree that we should take a little bit more, but we do have a piece of paper, and we will verify that. I agree. I'm moving a little bit fast on here because we didn't have time. And we have only 10 days, per the statute from 1970, to review this application and make a determination.
So it's $100 a year for the establishment, $50 a year per masseuse.
And then the masseuse dropped down to 25 as a renewal.
And have it renewed for the establishment, it's the same.
I think it's $100 is forever.
Oh, one-time fee?
No, $100 every year, but it never doesn't change.
Understand.
Ms. Pasio brings up a good point. We do have to do a better, we have to follow up. Now, we're actually stating that the state, that they give us a valid piece of paper. I'm sure the clerk would be thrilled, and will call the state and make sure that these numbers are there. Because you're right. A piece of paper doesn't mean anything, because this says that this thing is good for 2 years, till 2018. But it could not be accurate, so we'll verify it. I don't believe we did that. So we have two parts of this. So what I like to do this evening is to, hopefully you all trust myself, the clerk, and Mr. Knight, that the resolution authorizing the license, once again, it can be revoked if they do something inappropriate, and a resolution for this one person to operate it, with, of course, the caveat that they follow our rules and maintain their license with the state. Is there any other questions? Yeah.
It says here that the clerk is, to issue a massage establishment license to Deborah Fisher, too, right?
Deborah Fisher is the the business owner. She does not do massage. The employee does the work. She has an owner and an employee. Two different licenses.
What's that business license subject to?
Now, if the owner was also a masseuse, they'd still have to get two licenses. They get one for the establishment and one for their masseuse. More than likely, what will happen is, from what I understand, there will be several people working there. So the idea is everyone who works there will come to the town. Once again, how do you regulate this? It becomes difficult. Someone has to go in there. Someone might, more than likely would be complaint driven, as opposed to spot checking.
Mike's only go once a week.
Mike's one. Guess that, right?
This is
Let them see the license.
Along with,
You know, certainly, my opinion, enforcement of all that should be the establishment situation. They're willing to do things improperly, they're going to lose a license.
Yes, and this is not uncommon.
Today.
I printed out Hamilton, New Jersey's license, and their license is almost verbatim to ours. The only thing that they've changed since our license was passed was they realized that our police department cannot do criminal background checks anymore. So you have to go through the state of New Jersey or an outside agency. So right there, our ordinance doesn't comply with the law. So that part doesn't really work. We're asking for, if they, I don't even want to read it all because it's awful, but we ask for a lot of health issues, which all of us know you can't ask people for things about their health. The state can, but we can't. So part of that process kind of protects us. Okay? All right, so let's do one at a time. So we have resolution 155, was a resolution authorizing the issuance of massage license to Ms. Fisher, at $100 a year initial and renewal. Is there a motion?
I make a motion.
I'll second that.
Motion by Mr. Ranieri, second by Mr. Lobenstein. Roll call, please.
Mr. Farrell,
Yes.
Mrs. Kelly,
Yes.
Mr. Lobenstein,
Yes.
Mrs. Passio,
Yes,
Mr. Ranieri,
Yeah.
and Mr. Rudy.
we will verify the licenses.
Six ayes.
The clerk.
I mean, I'll be ready to call.
So that resolution is adopted. So resolution 17-156 is a resolution authorizing the issuance of a massage technician license per chapter 246. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Mr. Lobenstein,
I'll second.
second by Mr. Ranieri. Roll call, please.
Mr. Farrell,
Yes.
Mrs. Kelly,
Yes.
Mr. Lobenstein,
Yes.
Mrs. Passio,
Yes,
Mr. Ranieri,
Yes.
and Mr. Rudy.
Yes.
All right, this resolution is adopted.
All right, thank you, Mayor.
Now, the reason that this is becoming an issue is, as everyone knows, massages are becoming more prevalent. We have other issues that we're going to need to deal with, and I'll bring that back to everybody because our current ordinance does need to be tweaked a little bit. We need to follow our own ordinance. So we have some other issues in town that we do need to address, but this is at least establishing that we have a process and we're following. Resolution 17-157.
Can we go 152?
You'll do 158 first. That came in.
Oh, I'm
That
sorry.
came in about a half an hour before the meeting. This
All right.
is a TDV.
All right, Resolution 158 is a resolution authorizing the cancellation of taxes for a 100% disabled veteran, Lot 67, Lot 501.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Motion by Mr. Lobenstein, second by Mr. Farrell. Roll call, please.
Mr. Farrell,
Yes.
Mrs. Kelly,
Yes.
Mr. Lobenstein,
Yes.
Mrs. Passio,
yes,
Mr. Ranieri,
Yes.
and Mr. Rudy.
Yes.
Six ayes.
All right, the resolution is adopted. All right, so we're going to skip that. Let's go to discussion first before we go to closed session.
So what you think?
Looks very good. Looks very good. I think you need to make it more colorful, but it looks good.
I would want, 14 or something.
Start off with 1001.
Well, no, that was our excuse why we didn't have anything ready because
Resolution, okay. Granting an appeal. What was that?
that is a senior deduction that was denied and it was appealed at the county, so we're granting it.
We have no choice.
We have to grant it.
We have to grant, so it'll be on next month.
So it'll be on for November.
So it's a senior discount, okay. Resolution waiving the 250 charge for property maintenance. We had a situation that went for tax sale, and the individual property owner, we had invoices from our vendor cutting the grass, and we had the property owner showing basically that they had paid for the grass to be cut also. The problem is that they waited a year, went to tax sale, and the whole process. So typically, whenever we send a bill out, we send a fee of $250 every time a bill is sent out. So to make this kind of go away, the compromise was to give her, the woman, $250. She paid the entire amount.
She didn't pay any of the 250. She eliminated the 250.
We only charged $1,250.
She didn't charge any of
We just made her pay for all of it,
it. She paid for all the cutting.
which was how much?
500, I don't have it with here.
So we got paid for all the grass cutting.
For every grass cutting.
We didn't pay for any of the fee. We didn't charge the $250 fee. So does anybody have a problem with that? No. That's not a big deal. Resolution releasing the performance bond for L&N Runnemede LLC. This is Cooper Urgent Care. I think we have a letter of recommendation from the engineer.
We do, but we're still missing a tank. We're waiting for it, and I talked to Dave Cowan. He has to send me about $400 to pay off one of Pennett's bills.
Okay, so as long as he pays the $400, we can release his bond. That's correct, substantially finished.
That's from your,
Planning,
yeah, but conflict engineer.
conflict, yes, okay,
Planning board engineer was also the conflict engineer for inspection.
gotcha. So as long as he pays the $400, we can release his bond. Discussion of people-ready temporary laborers, I'm going to turn that over to Mr. Wozon briefly.
Well, briefly, it's a company used to be called Labor Ready. They merged together. They're two companies. It's for temporary associates, what they call them, laborers that we could use when we're hurting with getting our tenants itself, or if we have a person that gets workers' comp or we're out sick for a long period of time. The borough used to have them, contract with them several years ago, but it somewhat expired. So going through the whole steps of redoing everything, the contract agreement.
But you could even use them for one day. You
We
could
can use it for one day.
a couple days.
There's a 4-hour minimum charge, 2 hours if they're scheduled, cancellation, with no charges being to you. Talk to Mr. Anderson and Mr. Law, be a 30-day revolving, payment account. Because right now they're asking for weekly, but negotiate 30 days because we are a municipality. With that, they can supply us with 1 employee up to 30 employees.
What's the rate?
We have 2 different rates. One is just basic labor on the back of, recycling, pick up yard waste, stuff like that. It's $15.31 an hour. And then for somebody with skill, somewhat skill, and so forth, driver's license is $18.99.
But realize that they're not our employees.
It's not terrible.
It's not our employees, they pay workers' comp, they pay unemployment insurance, they take care of everything, they make sure they come to and from.
We have a contract for somebody to provide this service to us, just people who are here, we have no liability.
It's wonderful.
You'll let me see.
So in a hypothetical scenario,
Good deal.
if a couple guys pulled out sick and you couldn't get a second truck out, would they be able to come in fast enough to come and run the truck for that day?
They could probably, 2-hour lead time to get us employees for that.
Wow.
You could make up, because we've had that issue happen on a couple of occasions.
Yes.
Why did we let this go?
I think that when we were transitioning from so many different leaders down at the Public Works Department, it probably just left. You gotta remember, one of the things that I've realized over these years, that it's the managers that make the difference at each department level. How would we know? Typically I get the phone call when I get home that the yard waste wasn't picked up, or the recycling. I don't know until I show up at my house at 6 o'clock and I see the cans out in front. And this happened just recently, and I called Harry, and he said, well, he wasn't in that particular day, and a couple other guys
Short-staffed.
didn't show up, and next thing you know, we missed the third of the town.
So this will solve that.
Potentially.
Plus, you could cycle through laborers until you find good people too as well.
You could hire.
Can you say, I'd like to have these folks, but don't send this guy?
Yes, and if there's an issue, they handle it. I don't have to speak to the person. They come in, they remove the person, bring another person. So it takes the conflict out of that. So that's one thing that I like is.
And many other towns do this. We know that Woodbury does it. We know that Belmar does it for their trash trucks.
Haddon Heights.
And Heights does
How much
it.
notice
Yes,
do
but
they
there's
need?
always the possibility of yard waste still being there the next day.
Yes, I understand that.
So give us, if anybody out there, wait a couple days before you complain about your yard waste. It'll get picked up.
They like to complain about 12:15 on Tuesday night, Tuesday morning,
Yes,
on Facebook.
it'll get picked up.
Gotcha.
I was ready.
The municipal court, I would like to talk that out in that closed session. Is that appropriate, or should we talk about it out here?
Because I don't know what we're going to talk about.
We should
We're
talk
going to
about
talk about
Money?
potential contract.
it's a potential contract, it's an
Yes,
agreement.
a closed session.
Okay. So we can move that to then. Do you want to just go around the table?
You want reports?
Yeah. Okay, Ms. Pascal?
Let's see. Tuesday is Halloween. Yippee. So, Field House 6 to 8 is our party. I guess, Harry, when do you think you guys can bring down some?
Well, you can discuss that with him. I mean, that's not needed. I mean, do you want to just tell us what you want us to do, or what do you want council to do? How are you going to listen?
So I want Kelly to be there.
Yes, that's what I'm thinking. You want us to be there
I
from
want
6
you
to
be
8.
there, and I'd like you to be there in costume. So,
Anything?
thank you, John.
John will be John.
Okay, so, and again, my thanks to gardeners, they will be supplying us again with the apples, apple candy apples.
Yes.
And we will have the balloon girl again, and also the costume party for infants to adults. So, Runnemede, come on out.
And pizza.
And pizza! Oh my gosh, I forgot. John, did you take care of the
Carousel
pizza?
Yeah, we got pizza.
Okay.
I'll definitely be there.
There you go.
We'll have pizza, lots of
Was the
pizza, lots of
apples
pizza
with
from
pizza?
carousels.
Pizza.
You want to send me information, me, and I'll put it on there?
Yes,
I will send you all that
Yes.
information.
that's definitely advertised.
You want to wear a Chris costume.
Is there anything else? So Halloween's the
Did you
biggie.
bring those samples in with you of the?
Oh, I didn't, no.
Oh, they're still up there?
Yeah.
Okay, what did,
It was the color, the beige. That's what's out there.
have mailbox codes to look at.
Okay, so that's it, so Halloween is big, though, that's big.
That's it, and,
So we're ready for-
also, I did want to say something about the, do you want to talk about the Women's Club? Do you want to say anything about that the Women's Club now is gonna have, anything?
December 5th?
It's gonna be December 8th on
December
Friday. Doors will open at 6 o'clock, that's their basket auction. The date, we can put that on our, Facebook page and also on our.
Well, if you email, I think that, I mean, I
I will do all that.
think Greg and Harry have been doing that good.
Resolution for that, because we
And,
did one a couple
other than that
months
is
ago,
progress.
but then
For
this,
what?
for our license for the sale.
No, we don't have to do it anymore, we just passed the ordinance.
Yeah, we just passed the ordinance, so we don't have to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't that great? That's why we did it.
Yeah.
Once the paperwork's done, it's approved.
Well,
There's no delay.
But we don't know what Scott, the state.
But there's no delay with our meeting.
That's good.
Okay?
No, thank you.
Ms. Kennedy?
I didn't ask you, because I have like a funeral and wake and everything. I'm not gonna be around.
Shoot them emails, because that proves it.
Yeah.
Tells them, I like yours.
Okay.
Easy. Easy. I used to have meetings till 11 o'clock at night. We'll go back to those
I'm
days.
trying to help us with
Yeah.
So we have to be somewhere?
Patty and I attended the Latino honor event at the mansion, and it went very well. We're going to have the proclamation read at council.
So we need to put that on there, Joyce, for the general meeting is the proclamation.
Officer Ortiz is going to bring the proclamation that night so we can read it onto the record, and that would be a great thing.
We'll do it at the beginning of the meeting, that's great.
Yes, yes. And that's.
Oh, promise? Okay. Mr. Ranieri?
Thank you, Mayor, Council.
Sorry, I went to the fall festival the fire department had. It was fabulous.
Nice.
Yeah, it
Big
was
turn.
fabulous.
Big
Fabulous.
Very good.
Kudos to the fire department. They did really well.
Thank you, Alder. Finance, not a lot going on other than your normal bills are being paid, taxes are being collected, nothing out of the ordinary. I've been busy along with the mayor and council, interviewing and hiring different employees, potential employees, trying to get the right people in the right jobs. I've also started to review our electric bills throughout the different buildings, and especially the borough. And I'm going to start looking into our solar options, whether it happens this year, next year, down the road. We're going to start working that way. Because we have the potential to save, in this building alone, about $1,000 a month.
Wow.
So $800 to $1,000 a month with solar. You know, with the roof and things like that. But I'm going to get started with some proposals and some ideas. I think that's a lot of money coming in here next year, right? And other than that, the rest is progress.
Very good. Mr. Lumsden?
Yesterday I did a soccer game, a college soccer game, and I was with another referee, and he said he was down at Green Acres Park on Sunday, refereeing down there. He said he never knew it existed. He said the field was beautiful, better than most. And he was very happy to go down there. And it was in between games, he walked around the track.
Did you find it was hard to find?
Yes.
He said it was hard to find.
Yeah,
Yeah, we're gonna work on signage.
that sign down there, it says no outlet, so people get confused by that. Jet my terrace right there.
Yeah.
And so,
Okay, something to think about.
yeah, but
That's good news.
yeah, the rest is progress.
Mr. Root?
Everything's good, but we had a couple of things going on that, we took care of. The Rotary had a dedication of the instruments. Everybody was there, council was there. It was very nice. The guys were on their own. Harry wasn't there, he was at a meeting. So Nick and the guys made everything look beautiful down there. I was surprised. I thought my wife brought it from the house, but here it was Nick, brought the hay and the mums and all, and it looked beautiful. The people were very happy with the instruments. It was a good time. So, and Green Acres did look fantastic. So they're keeping up on that. Again, with the yard waste, give us a couple of days with it before you call. There is vacations, sick times, guys going to get trained. So the schedule, and we need more employees. So the schedule's a little crazy right now, but, because we're doing a couple different things. So just give us a couple days, we will get out and get your yard waste and the leaves, and, that's about it, the rest is progress.
Has anybody got any complaints? Because I've gotten complaints about.
Well, he gets them on
You found?
Facebook, yeah, and I'm getting calls about it. You know, the people that, you know, they don't see it get picked up on Monday. And
But we've been
I
saying it
understand.
for about a month now.
Yeah, and I
It'll
understand.
get picked up the next, yeah.
Yeah, but
Michael, I saw on Facebook that they were having problems with the bathrooms again. What's going on with that? I mean, they
What
were
bathrooms?
clogged up at Green Acres. They were clogged up, and
We get
they
anything?
reported that they were backed up with all kinds of
Problems.
nastiness.
Kids
What's
put-
going on?
Kids put,
That was a while ago.
I
something
thought
like that.
I thought we had cameras and all.
We do.
We have cameras that they're not inside the bathrooms.
I think it's illegal
It's
to put
illegal.
inside that.
So,
Unless you see somebody carrying in a tree branch. Carrying in a tree
Probably
branch.
illegal to discuss it.
and we have seen that.
The police have done reports with it, they've notified us, we've gone out, we've corrected and so forth, but when the weekends are packed down here with tournaments and so
They're
forth,
packed.
they get, unfortunately, some vandalism. Nothing broken or anything like that, it's just some clogged toilets or sinks and so forth, and we get it taken care of. So that's the, unfortunately.
I know it's a lot of effort.
Bathrooms.
Shame.
Okay.
You don't get that at
They
hockey.
were beautiful.
That's all I can tell you.
Pardon me?
Ice hockey, there's nothing wrong with the bathroom. That's all I know.
But there isn't been
It's that soccer hoodlums
Mr. Farrell?
from Ireland.
As I've been reporting the last few weeks, still waiting to start Elm Avenue, Washington Avenue. We've had a problem with the gas company, which, Mark, it's been over 3 weeks.
I have a call in and they didn't return my call today. I'll get an update and let you know as soon as I get from there.
Okay, second thing, I called Steve and the mayor and I talked. Easham Road where we stopped, the milling, did Steve get a chance to go out and look at that?
I think it becomes if we have the money to do it, so we have to see how much it's going to cost.
Just so you don't, you
What's
know.
going on?
Are we allowed to go past that point?
What is the milling, where at?
What's?
Easham Road,
It's county right
the
away.
county and where we go, we didn't take it all the way down because we don't know where, I guess they know, we weren't sure where county. But now that we're done, there's an area there where there's a lot of potholes, so we need to take care of it.
We stopped the road at the county right now. And Mr. Farrell's point is that it's messed, the road looks terrible right there. So do we have the right to go further in? Of course, there's always money constraints. Normally, if you remember when the county did Clemsbridge Road, they came all the way into Knight and Lindsay. They come in about 25 feet.
Raise person G and M.
So it's tough, but I'm hoping the county will be doing Evesham in the next year or two, so it'll be nice to see.
But if not, can we wait that long?
We can fix potholes, or we can get them to fix potholes.
When I was at the fall festival, Charlie Ramon took me aside, and he wanted to know what was going on upstairs, because he feels that he should have been included in the discussions you've been having about the plans for upstairs.
He was invited to the pre-con, he didn't come, but we are.
That's the end of that
So
conversation.
we are going to include him when we get to construction.
Thank you.
He is invited.
Okay, I'm just,
Mr.
I'm just
Make sure-
conveying his,
Is that what it was?
You should be invited.
his request.
You should be invited.
I'm just gonna check his emails then.
And last, I was talking to the mayor about the behind Train High School, and I called Steve Backus, see if he can do a survey back there. And
We're starting
we're starting.
The survey,
with flags.
survey.
Survey.
Remember we talked about, we've had a couple issues about what we're going to do with this land, and it's been dragging on, and there's a lot of concern. First thing we have to do is where it is, where the meets and bounds, where are the locations. And so we get a better idea. Yeah,
Did we find the deed?
we have not found the deed, but we're going to try to work another angle. Mr. Bayshore.
We have when the development went in, we have the overall parcel map.
So they went back to the survey. The site plan.
deed.
There's no doubt- You have a deed, or you only have a site plan?
No, he may not have a deed, but there is a deed.
There's got to be a deed.
Right, so we need to have the deed. So if you can give me the particulars, title in our name,
I'll work with
you know, lot,
What
block.
happens
That makes sense.
Well, no, we can find a deed, because, or that
County.
it's either recorded in the clerk's office or not. So I want to make sure it's recorded that we own it, which I believe we do. And were some potential issues of, possible, deed restricting issues, which I want to look
We
at.
have to double check.
Okay, so can we get working on
Yeah,
it?
we'll take it.
They actually, Mr. Bayshore said they might be out there tomorrow, sir,
Okay. We've been talking about this for a long time, so
with lights on. So everybody knows. Anything else? Progress.
I wanna ride by and make sure.
You want to do your stuff in the back, or did you?
Yeah, I have nothing for you.
Mr. We'll go Mr. Wansop, then Mr. Page.
Really, two things. At the girls softball field, the sprinkler company has installed the sprinklers that they're donated to the girls softball field, to the borough. So, shout out to them for their donated of labor and materials. We are waiting for the well seal. From last talking to Chuck about it, it's the well company getting it scheduled, but also going to hang up with the state for the permit.
They have,
Okay, so,
according to Chuck, the other day when I talked to him, they have the permits now.
okay.
Callahan has everything.
And then
It's just the scheduling, so they got their permit. Okay.
So then that will be looking good. Today, we had a DEP inspection of our collection system, and I am happy to report that there was no reports of any failures or
Sewers?
on the sewers, and that there was no recommendations for improvements.
Wow, congratulations. That's amazing. Really.
Straight out.
Good
So
job.
That was big to the guys. They handled it, and everything was presented and so forth, and the inspectors were very pleased.
Yeah, they needed a trophy.
Yeah, I have noticed that.
Toiletry.
I noticed that in Green Acres that they stopped mowing that.
Toiletry.
That was not supposed to be mowed across that bridge.
Get a little more.
Before we move past Public Works, Mike, maybe, the fountain, I've noticed in the morning, it's
Yeah,
it's real low and then it goes up.
And the lights are
Well,
on.
it goes up because somebody stops by and shuts it down.
Mr. Robbins.
And
Trying to help it
you
out.
shut it down,
The stuff
try to
falls
get
off
it off, turn it back on.
I thought maybe it was.
No, it's just so, it's
He
just
just
so
needs to
much
get there
stuff
twice
on
a
the lake
day.
right now.
He's got to be there twice.
There's a switch there, a box. Mike was kind of giving the combination.
Oh, good.
So I go in, I shut the breaker off, you shut it off for like 5 minutes, everything falls away, the clog, and then you turn it back on, and then voila.
For how long?
But it's just way too much.
Every day we should.
Next year, we gotta rethink of what we're doing
You
with
put it on
it.
a timer,
Well, it is on a timer.
On it, turn it
you know,
off or
right,
turn it
so,
But,
set it for an hour.
every day. That's interesting.
but we gotta think about the
Should
actual,
turn it off every couple hours.
the actual drain.
Yeah, the actual light.
You know?
Okay.
We
No.
gotta find the actual problem.
All right, then, the floor is yours, Mr. Page. I think. What do you got?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I submitted my report in writing, sent it to everybody via email, but I'll just go over a few of the highlighted items. Under general engineering, we did get our state aid application submitted in time through that SAGE system. So hopefully within a month or two, we'll hear from the state, but I'm not sure what their schedule is going to be like. But
Do you have a total cost estimate for all the work?
yeah, it was like $400,000.
400,000?
Yeah, I can get a copy of what we submitted.
Because I think we should, just to stop quickly, if the state only gives us 200,000, it could be part of our road project, so
Right.
we supplement the rest and do the whole project.
I will get that cost
And
estimate
it
to
would
you.
go from
To do all that,
Reed all the way.
Schuster, Phillips, Charles, I think it'd be great.
Schistler, we didn't go all, we just connected to 4 roads, so we didn't continue it past the loop or.
But it's a continuous
Walter.
area.
Yeah, it's
Go to Walter, we didn't go as far as Walter.
But it's a
Stopped.
continuous area.
Yeah, yeah. So I'll get that cost estimate to you. The CDBG project we talked about, we had the resolution tonight in the open meeting, so I'll coordinate with Joyce and getting the minutes to Bob Harris. Sherrington survey, we talked about, so I'll coordinate with Glenn on that. The Elm Avenue and Broadway project, Bob sort of mentioned this. Contracts went to Lambert, I'm waiting to get those back, and I'll schedule a pre-construction meeting for that. I also sent a package to DOT so that they could do the initial payment voucher and get that process going so we can get the 75% upfront money. The ADA hallway and elevator project, this is phase 1, we're still, oh no, I'm sorry, this is phase 2.
Yes.
The notice to proceed was for October 11th. It's a 150-day schedule, so that puts us completion at March 12th. Right now, we're in the shop drawing phase, so we're getting submittals from the contractor. Our architectural department's reviewing those. I did request that they try and get that mailbox installed as early as possible. They were complaining that, not complaining, but they said that's really not the trade that installs it won't be on the site. So we're trying to get them out early just to accommodate the borough, and I think they'll be able to do that. Nothing new on Bassett. I still have to get a revised deed for that dock area.
And I apologize, I never stopped by to go talk to that one gentleman.
But I have to get the revised still waiting for that. The South Oakland and Washington Avenue project, Bob touched on this. Right now, we're waiting on South Jersey Gas to install a main from Evesham for 2 blocks worth. We had a meeting a couple weeks ago, and we worked out all the details for what we can do for the restoration. I was hoping to have an update today, but they didn't get back to me, so I will let the committee know about that as soon as I hear. One thing that's not in the report, but I remembered something today when I was talking with Harry. At the pre-con, Harry mentioned about possibly doing a change order for this project to stripe Davis and 9th Avenue. Right now, the yellow striping is fading. That's a double yellow line, and if we, it's about 2 miles worth of road that we're looking to do, so it'll be 4 miles total of yellow striping, and it's 40 cents a lineal foot, which is about $8,500. So
I think there's $80 left in that line.
that's what, I didn't know if I should be pursuing this or not, because I know Greg and Bob
There's
were.
$80 left in that line.
I think I have some yellow paint at home.
$80.
They do it for 79.
Because we stretched it to finish all of Elm and Washington, you remember? We cobbled everything together, so even though I think it's great, I think the only way I can say it is if we do next year's bond, maybe we can put it together. If we do the remainder of the Schisler project and then we throw this in there, I think it is a good idea. So if you want to at least get a number, maybe we can put it in for the bonds for 2018.
Well, I have a number, it was 40 cents a foot. so-
8,500?
40 cents a foot.
Okay, so I'll hold on, I'm all.
So if you help out with formulating this road project for next year and you throw this stuff in there, we can come up with a total amount.
Okay. General sewer engineering, I guess Steve has been working on trying to find a funding source to convert the septic systems in the borough and tie it into.
In case anybody gets any phone calls, Steve had their surveyors go out there and at least do elevation markings on Davis, Sunset, Sunnybrook, and Evergreen. There are 88 homes back there that don't have sewer. And there was this funding that the state basically has to give municipalities to get rid of sewer systems. And there's 2 reasons. One, you don't want all that, what's that, septic system? Yeah, not get rid of sewer system. To get rid of them. There's a couple of reasons. One, obviously, there's problems with septic systems. 2, when people go to sell their homes, there's always a problem for a lot of those residents back there when they go to sell their homes. And then 3, it's better for the environment and everything like that. So the reason that this, if everybody remembers, maybe about 6 months ago, myself and Mr. Bach went to a meeting one day, and the county basically presented this plan where they would help the municipalities to do these projects and help get the funding from the state. So almost like a partner, because like everybody knew, once CCMUA paid off all their debt, they were supposed to not charge anybody anymore. Well, they paid off all their debt. I think everyone's still getting a bill. But they had no debt anymore, so now what they're doing is helping the municipalities go out and grab the money that they got to build the CCMUA plants. So,
Whitman Bridge was supposed to be a toll well.
yeah, so- but if it helps us, it's a possibility, so we'll look at it.
So we're looking into that.
88 homes?
I think it's 88.
That sounds familiar.
Sounds right.
And then the master plan and the redevelopment study, Steve has been working with our planning department, and I guess he's been at a couple of the planning boards. Right now, they're just going back and forth, trying to tie down some loose ends with both of those studies. I wasn't able to find out the schedule for what we're going to get to find out. But I'm
At the
working.
planning board, it was reported that basically it wouldn't be till February that we would actually have any type of public hearing until February.
Thanks for that.
Yeah.
Folks, one quick thing, speaking
Yes.
of the pipe and stuff, I guess this is what this is about.
Yes.
That liquor store is empty now.
Yes.
They still have all the signs in there. Do they have to take that stuff out?
Our ordinance basically says you have to maintain it. We could ask Mr. Knight to tell him that he needs to remove all that stuff. It's been more than enough time that he's moved down the street. Yeah, we could ask him to clean that up. and clean up the property.
All right.
If you want, I'll take care of that.
I'll
You want to
send-
take care of
I'll
it?
send you-
You do it, yeah, you got a relationship with you. Save me something to do.
Okay. Moving on to page 5, the parking lot. I'm working on getting the CDBG closed out, so having the meeting tonight is a step in that right direction. We still have some punch list items to take care of. There's some, one tree they have to replace and a couple of shrubs. So I'll be working on getting that project closed out with the contractor and with CDBG. The phase 1 of the Borough Hall project, there's just minor punch list items. I think they're still still outstanding. There was some dirt in the ceiling tiles, there was a couple roof leaks, and some base cove was falling apart. So when the contracts, same contract for phase one and phase two, so when they come back for phase two, they're supposed to be taking care of this minor punch list item stuff.
Just to stop on that for a second, the light pole that has to be removed for that garden that's going in, does anybody have any progress on that?
I got a phone call from PSEG today, got a scheduled, call tomorrow with them, did it get it reviewed, find out the schedule for it, so probably looking in the next 2 to 3 weeks.
Because we have to be prepared to spend that $2,000 at the beginning of the spring. Just if you,
When you get a date,
Very
can you send me
yeah.
an email?
Yes, I get the date.
because then we can remove the rest of the mulch and those plants and get it prepped for spring. Okay.
The slip lining project, the contractor took care of the last punch list item, which was the oversized liner that was going from on Clemens Bridge Road at Second Avenue. They were out last week. They cut out the oversized portion and they relined it. We're still reviewing the video just to make sure everything went well, but our inspector was on site throughout, and I think Harry stopped by, and everybody was happy with how they were
How big
cutting
is
it
it?
out. They go in with a grinder and they grind it out,
Suck out all that.
and then they go in and reline it. So that was taken care of, so now we just have to process all the paperwork for that. We've been holding off on making payments until they took care of all the punch list items. And that's the only thing I have new to report on. Everything else is.
All business? Okay. Thank you. We can open the meeting again to the public. So this will be the good and welfare portion of the meeting. Anyone wishing to speak, please come to the microphone, state your name and address. Seeing no one, is there a motion to close the public portion?
I'll make a motion to close the public.
I'll second that
Motion by
motion.
Mr. Lobenstein, second by Ms. Kelly, all in favor?
Aye.
Public portion is closed. We're going to go into closed session now, so let's have we need resolution 17-157 is a resolution authorizing mayor and council to conduct a closed session to discuss personnel and contract negotiations. However, we may do action afterwards. I forgot to tell you. So we might do action. And what, we said 30 minutes, Ms.?
30 minutes.
We
Okay.
said 30 minutes.
Must be a lot more in this thing than I know about.
Okay. So, is there a motion to go into closed session?
I'll make a motion to go into
I'll
closed
second.
session.
It may not be 30 minutes. If you're going to hang out there, we'll let you know. A motion by Ms. Kelly, second by Mr. Ranieri. All in favor? I remember, we're back in open session.
The microphone on?
Microphones are on? Yes?
No.
No?
You got a light?
I got a light.
Okay, you should be on.
Okay, so now, what we have is, let's do resolution 17-159. What do we do first? The contract or the appointment? Or simultaneously?
So the resolution's going to be to appoint,
So we have a resolution to appoint James Dioria as the business administrator for the Borough of Runnemede and the chief financial officer for the Borough of Runnemede, with the term starting on December 4th, 2017. With a salary of $80,000 as the CFO and a $25,000 salary as the business administrator.
so the appointment and authorize the entering into of a contract to that end.
Bless you.
Did you get that, Joyce? And to enter into a contract between the borough and Mr. Dior. The council will approve, the mayor to sign.
I make a motion.
You make a motion to
I'll
approve?
second that motion.
Motion by Mr. Ranieri, second by Ms. Passio. Roll call, please.
Mr. Farrell?
Yes.
Mrs. Kelly?
Yes.
Mr. Lobenstein?
Yes.
Mrs. Passio?
Yes.
Mr. Ranieri?
Yes.
And Mr. Ruth?
Yes.
6 ayes.
Right, the resolution is adopted. I will notify Mr. Dioria this evening about this so that he can get notice to his current employer. I will wait for him to sign it first before I sign it. Correct? And hopefully what we might even do, just to clarify one little thing that he did ask me, was that he felt that during this next 6-week interim period that he might want to come in, meet the Public Works Department, meet the engineer, basically tour everything prior to his first day of work so that he has an up and running type of attitude. To let you know, we've started the process of trying to clean the office up. Ms. Passio nice. Miss Pinto had the,
I'll take it.
you want to take credit for
Yeah,
that?
sure.
Had the rooms painted and started, at least prep this area. We're doing the files, cleaning up a lot of things.
Work to do.
Yes, our new tax collector has gotten some of the personnel stuff all caught up, correct?
Thank you, Joy.
Enough. So we've done some prep work over the past 8 months, so hopefully this will be the end of an 8-month saga.
If he's going to come in and be here, it wouldn't be a bad idea for him, for me to meet him as well. He'll spend some time with
Oh, that would be
me over
wonderful.
the course of his career.
I think that is a great idea. Yes, great. I'm sure Len will be happy not to hear from me as often as he
So
is.
we'll probably be stopping by after work.
I'm not sure exactly. He just asked for the ability to come in and to do something like
I'll
that.
be happy to spend the day with him.
You can also communicate with me as far as coordinating things and with meeting people, I can help you coordinate.
Absolutely.
Okay?
I'll be happy.
I know you will.
I will be gone for this week from Thursday through Sunday. I will be at the Ohio State, Penn State game in Columbus, Ohio. You're not happy about that? Yeah, no.
Come on,
Be
huh?
safe. Have
So I will be away for a few
It's
days.
gonna be past 3 days.
You're in Virginia?
Haymarket.
So,
I saw.
but it's been very busy. Just on a positive note, my son joined the church basketball team with a bunch of Greeks.
Very
Oh,
nice,
that would make sense.
It's-
very nice,
It's good.
very nice.
It's good.
So now I'm forced to go to church every Sunday. He has to go to Sunday school every Sunday, or you're not allowed.
He's loving you for that one.
And the priest, and it's great, so the priest, they do a blessing before each game. And it's really nice, you know, but what's terrible is, every time they get in a fight, I'm going, where's the priest? Because, you know, and we played, you know, we were in Elkins Park, and there was some rough and tumble, a little bit like, I'm like, where's the priest? You know, little bumps here and checks here.
Exorcism or something.
You gotta do what you gotta do.
Gotta do what you gotta do.
I was-
Other than that,
I played
My grandson plays
simultaneously.
soccer.
oh, you played basketball, yes.
Middle school team,
It's-
Wow.
CYO team,
It's a big day.
You did a lot today.
It's a big day, yeah.
and a Lutheran church team.
A Jewish community thing, you said?
Yeah, well, my parents, all their friends belonged to the Jewish Community Center, and they both, they were bowling leagues, and so my parents joined, and, you know, but when, so it was a family thing, when it was in Pennsauken there on Saturday. So they had a basketball, they had like just an intramural basketball, they had a pool, and so, and a bunch of my guys that I played ball with anyway.
They let a Gentile in?
They did, I was a Gentile. So I played in the intramural. And then they had, at the end of the year.
Well, Lenny's a good name, that's not too bad, Lenny.
I'll tell you faster. So at the end, they had a travel team. And we would go and we would pay other Jewish community center, you know, travel teams who go up in the general area. And every single time that I went to an away game, one of the kids on the other team came up to me and said, "You're not Jewish, how come you're?"
Really?
No, nothing, no, just, "You're not Jewish, how come you're?"
Mayor, I have to leave,
Okay.
I have a meeting.
So
I'll be there.
I told, at one point in time, I was the president of, for sure, I was the president of the Hadley Sons. The president before me, his name is Sam Ross. His real name, his grandfather's name was Ross of DeVito, but 100 years ago they changed that. But, so Sam Ross and Glenn Wood, okay, back-to-back presidents. So I said, we should get some recognition for having the back-to-back presidents whose names end in consonants, and who goes down the Sam Ross and Glenn Wood.
Same with us.
I'd say that much to
Well, I did very well in my bowling league last night, too, in case anybody cares. I averaged my
Where do you-
170
Wow.
last night.
Good for you.
I made a motion to adjourn.
Is there a second? Second. All in favor? We are adjourned. This motion by Mr. Ruth,